Harley Quinn.
These videos are not for children. If you are a children, then piss off.
Hey there, I'm Infuso, and joining me here today is Black Friend Alan, who is not just my black friend, but everybody's black friend.
Hello.
So, we're here to give you our top, I only have 4 this time, our top 4 and 5 Harley Quinns.
Yeah, you're really getting bad.
It's hard, because, there's other Harley Quinn portrayals, but I don't think they make my top 5. So it's unfulfilled. It's just oh, you guys are okay.
So you don't have a fifth?
I don't have a fifth.
Okay, so my fifth, I'm making fun of you, but I was debating with this one because, like you said, Harley Quinn, how many portrayals have there been that have not been connected to the original source of the character? And this is we're gonna count this as Harley Quinn. As loose as it is, but I'm going with Echo from Gotham.
Okay, I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
In the same way, Jerome, Jeremiah is Joker. Echo was his Harley Quinn.
Because I don't think they could use Harley Quinn. Same way they couldn't call Jerome Joker.
Exactly.
So I that's 100% the character that they were trying to pull off, though. So
definitely. And I put her because of live action wise, this is only one of the few Harley Quinns that we see. I'm going to say this now. You're gonna get pissed off because you always get pissed off at me.
Go ahead.
And stuff. I'm gonna say her name wrong. Mina Severa is not on my list.
Mina Severa.
The one from Birds of Prey, the TV show.
Mia Sarah.
Mia Sarah is not on my list.
Oh my god.
I'm going to say that right now. She is not on my list.
Mina Severa.
Mina Sarah is not on my list. I'm just going to put that out there right now. But so for live action Harleys, I put Echo on it, on my top 5 just because in the short time in which she was fully embracing Harley. Because when you do meet her, she is just a normal I wouldn't even say henchwoman, but a normal associate of Jeremiah, pre his accident. But post it, when she goes full, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, it's not just a look, it's not just oh, she's doing the voice. There's she builds up this almost cult love for Jeremiah and stuff, and the little added bonus of it's kind of heavily implied that she shot herself in her head for him and survived, and the bullet is rattling in her skull. That's the extra creepy part. And then to really just make the story even more tragic, her death scene where he's saying how she's always been there for him. And he makes a comment
there'll never be one like you.
Really?
But I suppose there are other fish in the sea.
It's oh, she's not your Harley Quinn. There's going to be another Harley Quinn.
But it's also that's the story of Harley Quinn. The tragedy of the character has gone through a lot as we go through.
Have you ever heard of the tragedy of Harley Quinn?
So, who is your number 4 pick?
My number 4 pick is Tara Strong. She's great. I gotta stop saying that about people. Just great is my go-to word. But she is. She really, and it's strange for me, hearing somebody who I've heard most of my life voice Batgirl and do a tremendous job at it. But now, all of a sudden, she's playing, her nemesis. She's playing Harley Quinn. And she does a really good job. And it's the same way with Troy Baker, how, there's certain scenes of him as the Joker where you wouldn't know that it wasn't Mark Hamill. It's the same way with her, that you wouldn't know that that's not Arlene Sorkin, the person who originated the role. I think it's great, but the only reason it's so low is because it's an impression, which is not bad.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not.
I mean, it's fine if that's who you are.
Absolutely.
She's the legacy of Harley Quinn. She's going to continue on. Oh, and by the way, Mia Sarah is not on my list either. She was an interesting reinterpretation of the character. I like her. she's so different from the character that I have a hard time seeing her as Harley Quinn. But I do like it as its own thing, if that makes sense.
No, I got you. So my number 4 pick is Margot Robbie.
I feel like we might have the same list going up now.
So, at this point, she's only been Harley in one thing. Well, actually, let's correct it. Depending on whenever this video comes out,
She'll probably have been Harley in 2 things.
It'd
But
probably be Harley.
as of us making this,
she's been Harley in one.
in one thing, Suicide
One thing.
Squad.
And even in that one thing, and most people agree, she was the standout performance of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Otherwise, not the all the way best movie. And even from the trailers that we see Birds of Prey, and I think the only issue people really are having with this Birds of Prey movie is that it's called Birds of Prey.
Yeah,
And,
it's really a Harley Quinn movie.
It's really
It kind of irritated me that it's called Birds of Prey, and then like the trailer was like 90% Harley Quinn.
But no,
If you want to make a Harley Quinn movie, just make a goddamn Harley Quinn movie.
No,
Why rope the Birds of Prey into it?
in general, like her portrayal of the character, I feel is very faithful and stuff. You know, she's the right amount of crazy, eccentric. You know, especially in Suicide Squad, you definitely saw where she was at that point, where it was like still head over heels with Joker, and then this movie, from what they've shown so far, is definitely where they've moved her, where it's like leaving Joker, trying to be her own person, and there's like moments of that hilarity where it's like she'll make a comment to Huntress about like theoretically revenge never works out, basically calling back to the fact that she is a psychiatrist and stuff, proving that while Harley is insane, she's a character that has skills onto herself. But then she immediately snaps back into her wacky goofiness, and I think that's generally all I have to say about Miss Margot Robbie. As my 4th pick, who's your 3rd pick?
My 3rd pick is gonna have to be Margot Robbie. I think she did an excellent job as Harley Quinn. I like her version of the character, but my ideal Harley Quinn is the Harlequin suit Harley Quinn, the court jester looking.
Well, she did wear
in that one flashback scene for a second. Yeah, that was beautiful. She plays the character well. She just got the character. Like, she definitely has that batshit crazy vibe to her. You don't feel like she's just being wacky. Like, it's like, oh no, we're actually in danger. This chick is crazy and unpredictable. And whereas Jared Leto for me always seemed a little try hard, like Harley Quinn, she seemed to have the right attitude for the role, honestly. She could have a lot of energy and be psychotically upbeat. It's a slight duality between Harleen Quinzel and Harley Quinn, and she does a good job at it. When everyone said that she was going to be the character, I was a little bit worried. Mm-hmm. But then when we first started getting images of what she looked like, it's like, oh, that really does seem like Harley.
Like a lot of people, when they were kind of given her stuff because of the look. Like, I get the court jester look. It's like, it's iconic and stuff like that. But even before, like, that movie was coming out, in the comics, they were playing around a lot with, like, what her look was. So when she has these new different looks in the movies, I don't mind it because, like, the comics do play around with Harley not wearing, like, the same thing in everything. As I was about to get to my 3rd pick, I was, like, trying to, like, think about what I wanted to say. And as I'm saying it, I realize I think I need to switch some stuff around.
Okay.
So, doing a kind of switcheroo, in borrowing something from your Superman video, I'm combining my 2nd and 3rd picks together. And in the order of 2nd to 3rd,
okay,
it is Arlene Sorkin and Tara Strong.
Really?
While I agree with you that Tara at times does feel like she is doing an impression of Arlene.
Right.
Similar to George Newbern and Tim Daly, she's still doing the same kind of character.
Right, yeah, no, absolutely.
It doesn't feel like even though she's doing impression voice wise, that her motivations are different. It feels like this is the same Harley, whether she is with the Joker or she is with Ivy.
And it's such a good recast that there's a lot of people that don't know that the voice actress ever changed. Like, I know a shitload of people who have no idea that from Arkham Asylum to Arkham City, it's a different Harley.
Yeah, even that with Arlene and Tara, I kind of like put them in the same boat. And like Arlene was, of course, the originator. And Harley Quinn's character all comes from Arlene Sorkin's portrayal of what was it, Days of Our Lives?
Yeah.
It was like Days of Our Lives. There was a scene where Arlene Sorkin, it's like a dream sequence. She's playing like a clown, the court jester, and the writer saw that, and they created the character based on that, and then they hired Arlene to come voice the character. So, it's the origins of the characters, the origins of that voice. You know, it's the root of the character. But yeah, you go to your. I guess that would be your second pick.
My second pick is, I'm going to say this wrong, Kaylee Cuoco? Cuoco? Whatever the hell her name is. She's awesome. You know, it's not just a Tara Strong thing. It's like, I think the same way everyone tries to sound like Mark Hamill if they get cast as the Joker. Same way everyone tries to sound like Kevin Conroy if they get cast as Batman. I think, you know, everyone who gets cast as Harley Quinn, you know, attempts to be Arlene Sorkin. Or I'm probably saying that name wrong too. But, you know, Kaylee completely, you know, brings a new performance to the character. And it feels real and it feels legitimate. And, you know, to borrow from the show itself, this version of the character comes off as a quote-unquote bad guy, but not a bad person. Like, she's not gonna bloody some poor kid up, but she probably would do that to, like, you know, somebody who, you know, wronged her in some way, shape, or form. I just really appreciate this performance, and I appreciate the show. The show is one of my favorite things DC's done in years. And I think it's the best thing that's been done with the Harley character since Harley was created. Like, since the animated series, this is the best thing that they've done with that character. And I have not a negative thing to say about it. It's always interesting, and it's well written. If anybody hasn't watched the Harley Quinn show, I don't know what the hell you're doing with your life. You gotta go do it. And it's especially great that she did this character such justice, because her Big Bang Theory co-star really screwed it up. She was if this was a list of worst Harley Quinns, she probably would have this spot. Ironically enough, the second spot. Maybe the first. It's between her and the Harley from Suicide Squad, Assault on Arkham. Do you remember who played her in that one?
Well, I know who played her in Assault on Arkham. I don't know who played her. It's Hynden Walsh. She's famous for being Starfire on Teen Titans.
Great as Starfire.
Great Starfire.
But cannot take over for Tara Strong.
Tara Strong was Harley in Suicide Squad Hell to Pay.
You are me! And I am you!
But yeah, no, a lot of what you said is the reason, and this is why I went back and forth on the list. I put Kaylee Cuoco as my number one choice, even though she's new, because of the way that she is portraying the character, the way the writing is. The episode where they have to go inside her mind. It never occurred to me, you know, the way how they explained it was she had blocked that out because it was easy for her to assume Joker was pulling all the strings and not realizing that I was weak enough to willingly do this for him. The other thing that I like about this portrayal of Harley is it's taken to the comedic point, but showing that, you know, she was stalking Frankie Muniz as a kid, you know, she was like kind of like a jerk when she like graduated from high school. Like, there was something always off about Harleen Quinzel, and
Joker preyed upon that.
And he upped it.
The show was amazing, and she's phenomenal in it.
No, she's definitely phenomenal and stuff. And like I said, she's not trying to be Arlene Sorkin. You know, she's doing her own thing, and it's like, but you still feel the emotion of the way like that. Like I said, that character is written and how she pulls it off, and like I said, like she's a bad guy but not a bad person. She has a line she will not cross. You know, and I think that even like starts with the fact of she has the friendship with Poison Ivy. She's building a crew. These are all people that are, you know, misfits, outcasts, and stuff. And she's building that, and she's basically reinventing herself. You know, like leaving Joker. It's the most evolved you've seen her character post being with Joker.
Right.
Because like the animated series, it's kind of left up in the air. Like, oh, well, what happens post her and Joker? It's like, well, she kind of gets old.
She hangs out with Poison Ivy for a bit. But then she goes back to Joker for Batman Beyond.
Yeah, and
then she's presumed dead, and then she turns up as a grandma somewhere.
She turns up as a grandma. It's like she kind of just lives out her life old.
Break a grandmother's heart.
It's great. But this is actually showing that she breaks away from Joker, and instead of like just falling to pieces, or even like getting into small camp, she's building a new life for herself. Like I agree with you. The show is great, just off a comedic standpoint. But then like just the character study of somebody with, you know, mental issues in a different space. Like Joker the movie is getting praised for like exploring like that, like I would say like when does personal responsibility come in, but then, you know, I feel like the Harley Quinn show also talks about that in subtle ways. You know, like just the way that Harley is doing all this stuff. It's like she tells a line of, "Are you doing this for you? Or are you doing this to get back at the Joker?" And it's a back and forth. Like, what do you define most by? And even like in that episode where she's like, "That's not my origin story wasn't when you threw me into the acid or when I jumped in the acid. My origin story is when I left you and I started to do my own thing." So, but
my number one pick is the OG, the OC really, the original clown. Boo! Arlene Sorkin is the originator of the role. The role was written specifically for her based on something that she did. So she inadvertently inspired this whole character. And then she went on to define it. And I gotta hand it to Arlene Sorkin because she inspired the character to be created in the first place. She played the character to perfection. And then that character was so beloved from her performance that they started including it in the wider Batman continuity. She started off in the animated series and then made her way into comic books. Like, she wouldn't be in live-action movies if it wasn't for Arlene Sorkin playing the character, you know, on a soap opera. This is the best, simply put. I don't think that there's going to be any greater.
Baby, you're the best.
I don't think there's ever going to be duplicating this character, other than Tara Strong, I guess. I don't think that any other version of Harley is going to reach this height. As far as I'm concerned, when I think Harley Quinn, I think the animated series. And to me, that is the absolute best version of the character. I appreciate every other portrayal and reimagining and reinterpretation of the character. I like him a lot. But for the rest of my life, probably till I go into the ground, or the fryer, whichever we decide to do, I will think of Arlene Sorkin when I think of Harley Quinn. So that was me and Alan's best Harley Quinns. Now, if you excuse me, I have to drive somebody to the ferry and probably kick him out of the car. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, Alan? Really? We filmed that earlier. All right, but Alan, thank you for being here. I will think twice about bringing you back here again. Your poor choice and tastes have saddened me to my core. And probably my audience. I can literally feel people unsubscribing just because of your opinion. Thank you.
I'm the Clown Prince of Crime, and that was the Prince of Personality, the Infuso. Or so he says. So if you like the words that came out of his mouth hole and you too want to become a VTard, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow the man on Twitter, because it's not stalking if it's on the internet after all. Join the fun by joining the Discord. If for some strange reason you want to show support, and I don't know why you would, and if you have $1 to spare, head over to the SIJW's Patreon, where you can request videos, get exclusive content, and early access to scheduled videos. Or head to his PayPal, where you can buy the shirts. Oh, aren't those lovely? And just remember, if you're not tuning in, you're missing out. Yeah.